15 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. Wow, we're getting up there. We're almost done. We have, 11 days left in the 30-day challenge. I want to thank those that are taking the time to watch it live. Hi, good morning. And then also for those of you that are watching it, the recording. By the way, today is Mother's Day, so I want to extend all of you out there that are mothers a very happy Mother's Day. And for those of you that are out there, it's kind of like a bittersweet holiday for some because some of you, your mothers are not with you. But happy Mother's Day for those of you that are mothers. All right, so in the challenge, we are doing 5-minute exercises, one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. And in the mind portion, we're reading a book called Psycho Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And for the body, we're doing yoga salutations. And for the soul portion, we're doing meditations. Hi, my name is Pia McAdams. I am an accounting professor. I'm also a certified coach. I specialize in personal and small business finances and also fitness. I help people reach goals in those areas. And again, I want to extend another welcome to you guys for particularly those that are getting up early in the morning to watch it live. I know I have people all over. I have one viewer told me she wakes up like 1 o'clock in the morning in her time zone to watch this. So I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this for me and for yourself, because really this challenge is for you. Good morning. Hi, Patricia. How you doing? Oh, look, there we go. 1 o'clock in the morning. See? All right. Good to have you, Patricia. Thanks for jumping on live with me. All right, so in the book, Psycho Cybernetics, we are learning different tools in order to help pre-program our self-image. And in case you're just now joining us, our self-image is what guides us to kind of let us know whether or not we're going to reach our goals. So for example, if you set a goal to, let's say, I like to use the one because it's a common goal, to lose weight, unless you actually mentally see yourself as that healthy person, even if you lose 150, 200 pounds, you eventually gain it back because your internal image shows you as the unhealthy person. So we're learning ways to fix that. And we left off yesterday with two methods, well, really one and the same. One method was one person, she did an experiment where she acted as if, she was like a successful writer, and then she was like a successful public speaker, and she was doing lectures that was well attended. And think about it. Like, think of all the famous actors that we consider great, like Meryl Streep or Jack Nicholson or any of them, Will Smith. I mean, even one of my favorites is Kevin Bacon. Like, think what makes them great is because of their acting abilities. And I know they do that. They get paid to do that for a living. But just think of the concept of the reason why we consider them great is because they embody the character that they're portraying. And so if they can do that so convincingly to us, why can't we do that for ourselves? Like, why can't we act as if, we are, let's say, the healthy person or the in shape person or the great public speaker, or for those, that stutter, the one, talk without stuttering, whatever the case may be. We're learning tools to help us. And isn't it kind of ironic that when we were a child, we used to do these things. We used to imagine. We used to have imagination. We used to daydream. We used to pretend. We had all the tools within us, but then it was kind of like, it was kind of not necessarily beat out of us, but kind of, saying like, oh, grow up, now stop pretending. But why is it that, as an adult, you can understand like the sadness that you felt as a child is still coming up in your adulthood? But why don't you think that happiness can be the same way? Like, why is it so, blasé or whatever? Why is there such a stigma for an adult to have imagination or to pretend, unless they're actors or unless they're getting paid to do it? Well, we're learning that that's how we actually reprogram ourselves into our self-image, so that you can pretend who you want to be and actually be that person. Now, obviously, it's something that you have to believe, right? It can't just be something, I can't pretend that I'm a, 6-foot tall male, that's impossible, but it can be something that I truly believe and make myself believe it and then act as if it was. I remember this story where this guy was, he got diagnosed by a doctor that he had an inoperable brain tumor. And so he only had so many months to live, right? And so you could just see him just kind of declining, his walk, his demeanor, everything, because he just knew he was about to, come to his demise. Well, in the end, it was a wrong diagnosis. And, because he believed it, he physically started changing to the, to the diagnosis that he was given. But it was a false belief. And think about all those clinical trials that you hear about, the placebo pill. Like, they'll do clinical trials where they want to test the pill, and so they'll give the pill to some patients and they'll give a placebo pill to other patients, but neither one of the patients knew which pill they got. They just all thought they were getting the pill that's going to make them whatever the clinical trial was. And even the people that believed internally that they got the real pill, even if they got the placebo, they started having changes. So this does work, and that's what we're learning right now. Now, we left off with the Bertrand method, and basically his method is the same thing as, act as if. His method is more of like rational thinking, though. So in other words, with the act as if, with the power of rational thinking, what you're doing is you're thinking internally about like the failures, and then you're rationalizing why that isn't true. Okay, so that's where we are now in this book. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're coming to the end of chapter 5, and I'm going to read underneath the title. It says, examine and reevaluate your beliefs. It says, one of the reasons that the power of rational thinking goes unrecognized is that it is so seldom used. Trace down the belief about yourself or the belief about the world or other people, which is behind your negative behavior. Does something always happen to cause you to miss out just when success seems within your grasp? Perhaps you secretly feel unworthy of success, or that you do not deserve it. Are you ill at ease around other people? Perhaps you believe you are inferior to them, or that other people per se are hostile and unfriendly. Do you become anxious and fearful for no good reason in a situation that is relatively safe? Perhaps you believe that the world you live in is a hostile, unfriendly, dangerous place, or that you deserve punishment. Remember that both behavior and feeling spring from belief. To root out the belief that is responsible for your feeling and behavior, ask yourself why. Is there some task that you would like to do, some channel in which you would like to express yourself, but you hang back feeling that I can't? Ask yourself why. Why do I believe I can't? Then ask yourself, is this belief based on actual fact or on an assumption or a false conclusion? Then ask yourself the following questions. Number 1, is there any rational reason for such a belief? Number 2, could it be that I am mistaken in this belief? Number 3, would I come to the same conclusion about some other person in a similar situation? And number 4, why should I continue to act and feel as if this were true if there's no good reason to believe it? Don't just pass these questions by casually. Wrestle with them. Think hard on them. Get emotional about them. Can you see that you have unheeded yourself and sold yourself short, not because of a fact, but only because of some stupid belief? If so, try to arouse some indignation or even anger. Indignation and anger can sometimes act as liberators from false belief. Alfred Adler got mad at himself and at his teacher and was unable to throw off negative definition of himself. This experience is not uncommon. In case you're just joining us, he was the one that the teacher and his parents told him he wasn't good at math, and when he raised his hand to solve a math problem, they laughed at him. Well, he got mad and went up and solved the problem. An old farmer said he quit tobacco for good one day when he discovered that he had left his tobacco home and started to walk the 2 miles for it. On the way, he saw that he was being used in a humiliating way by a habit. He got mad, turned around, went back to the field, and never smoked again. Clarence Darrow, the famous attorney, said his success started the day he got mad when he attempted to secure a mortgage to buy a house. Just as the transaction was about to be completed, the lender's wife spoke up and said, "Don't be a fool. He will never make enough to pay it off." Darrow himself had had serious doubts about the same thing, but something happened when he heard her remark. He became indignant, both at the woman and at himself, and determined that he would be a success. A businessman friend of mine had a very similar experience. A failure at 40, he continued worried about how things would come out, about his own inadequacies, and whether or not he would be able to complete each business venture. Fearful and anxious, he was attempting to purchase some machinery on credit when the seller's wife objected. She did not believe he would be able to pay for the machinery. At first his hopes were dashed, but then he became indignant. Who was he to be pushed around like that? Who was he to soak through the world continuously fearful and faithful? The experience awakened something within him, some new self, and at once he saw the woman's remark, as well as his own opinion of himself, was an affront to this something. He had no money, no credit, and no way to accomplish what he wanted, but he found a way. And within 3 years, he was more successful than he had ever dreamed of being, not in one business, but in three. So as you can see, just becoming upset and indignant just to make yourself believe it. And it kind of reminds me of a story. I know I'm kind of going to go over today, but I think this is worth it. For those of you that don't know me, I'm actually divorced. And I've told my story before, but I'll tell a little portion of it right now that's relevant to what we're talking about. So when I got divorced, my son was 4 months old. We lived here in Southern California. I wasn't working per se. I was teaching aerobics because I'm an aerobic instructor. But my ex-husband, he was my husband at the time, was a Marine. And so we lived on base. And so I didn't really have to work because we moved here to California, got stationed here. And I didn't have to work because of sun dollars and happened to lose a lot of money. And so I decided not to work and pursue my passion to teach aerobics. So I really wasn't working. So by the time my son was 4 months old, the only really job I had was teaching aerobics, and then I was also teaching a QuickBooks course at an adult school, like 5 weeks. But it wasn't like a full-time job. It was just teaching classes every offering that they had it. Well, anyway, when he asked me for a divorce, he at the time I wasn't working. I'm living on base. I don't have a job. I have a 4 month baby. But in my mind, I got upset, not about what he was, that he asked for a divorce, because, it is what it was. But I got upset and I said to myself, I am not moving back home. Like, if you think about it, the only option was for me to move back home to Georgia with my mom because I didn't have a job. So, but I said to myself, and I had a 4 month baby, I said to myself and got mad and indignant and said, I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here in California. And I mentally said that to myself. And I swear, without, it wasn't nothing I like consciously thought of this. I mean, obviously I'm just not reading a book, but I literally made that remark to myself. And all of a sudden the world just opened up. Like, literally things just happened. I told you I taught at the adult school. Well, the president of the adult school, she talked to me and said she had a son that had a business and he was looking for an accountant. And so I took my son, my 4 month son, with me on the job interview, which is a total no-no. You don't do. I met him at a job interview. Not only did I get the job offered on the spot, I got to work from home, and I also got to make my own salary. Like, literally things just start opening up when I became indignant and said to myself, I'm not leaving California. I loved it out here and I didn't want to go home. So anyway, what I'm trying to get you to see is that we have power in our mind, but you have to believe it and you have to trust it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on into the body portion. We're going to be doing some yoga society. Again, I want to invite you to join me. Now, this is not one of those challenges where, I want you just to sit here and watch me. This is about transforming your life in 15 minutes. And so in order to do that, it means there's some action that has to be taken, right? All right, so again, if you just now joined me, thank you. Welcome. Hi. Oh, hi, Tiffany. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, my gosh. And you just had a little baby. Wow, I can't believe this. Good to see you, girl. All right, so we're going to move on to the yoga portion, and then immediately we're going to go right on to the meditation. And please join me in this practice. And remember, this practice of the 5 minutes of each of these exercises, it's just like a taste. It's to get you to see that you don't have to spend 2 hours in the gym or, an hour, 30 minutes meditating. It just takes 5 minutes. If you just practice for 5 minutes, over time you'll build up to whatever you want to build up to. But you can actually make a difference in your life in just 5 minutes on each of these 3 body parts, in mind, body, and soul. Don't just neglect 1 or 2. Do all 3. Hi. Okay, let's get started. going to bring us to the meditation portion. I want you to sit in a nice comfortable position if you're sitting down. If you're in a chair, please make sure that you take your shoes off so that your feet are grounded to the floor. And if you're lying down, just a quick tip, put your tongue on the roof of your mouth just as it concaves up, because if your tongue is pressed against your teeth, the tendency will be to fall asleep. We're going to use the Ujjayi breaths, where we're inhaling for a count of 1, exhaling for a count of 2. If the thoughts come into your mind, be gentle and just kind of push them aside and just focus on your breath. relax, and return refreshed and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. Well, that concludes day 19 of the Transform Your Life in 15 minutes. You guys have a blessed day. And then again, for those of you that are celebrating, Happy Mother's Day. Bye.